Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode. It is a beautiful May day here in Johnson City, and I am excited for you guys to meet my new friends, Kirsten Turner and Amit Prabhakar. Prabhakar?
Yes.
Prabhakar. I knew I was going to screw it up, but I got it right the second time. They are with Icode Tri-City. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to hear about this program because I don't think our listener, I didn't know anything about it. I knew about STEM a little bit, so, but I didn't know about your program. So I'm super excited to learn about your business and what you guys are doing. So first thing, you probably are avid listeners of the podcast because you were coming on here. You may have listened to 2 or 3 episodes. Number one question is, what do you love about Johnson City? Kirsten, she was ready. She was like, what do I love about it? I was like, yeah. So what do you get to go first? Ladies first.
I know it's probably said all the time, but I truly love the community and the people here. I moved here from Phoenix, Arizona almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
And was born and raised there. And I never knew that community was so attainable on a citywide level.
Yeah.
I love people. I just love that I can go into a grocery store or ever a coffee shop, a restaurant, and I always run into somebody I know.
Isn't that so much fun?
It makes my day.
And even though we're getting bigger and bigger, I think we're still very community driven. And like we see people in the grocery store we know, and now I'm going to be like, hey, what's up, guys? What are you doing? And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, and we're just like Arizona, really. I mean, it's so green there. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Phoenix is just like this. I mean, especially in the winter.
Right.
Same temperatures, all that fun stuff. I bet, did you suffer in the winter this year?
It wasn't too bad. I went to school in Colorado for 4 years, so I had a little preparation.
You're probably actually over-prepared if you went to school. Amit, what about you? What's your favorite thing about Johnson City?
Well, definitely, same. I love the community here. People, just awesome. And it's very safe, city, to raise family. That was kind of big for us. And love the weather here. It's not too hot, not too cold. Coming from Florida, we were like, wow, this is awesome,
Yeah.
And of course, mountains, the scenery is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Arizona.
In Arizona. And then?
I grew up in India.
India?
Yes.
It's just like, yeah. So how did you come to America?
States. So I moved here 2007. I just finished my bachelor's in India, and I wanted to, get out of country. I wanted to, meet new people, new culture. I love a culture, so it was big to me to kind of get out, meet, and America is one of the best country to be. So, I enrolled into a master's program here in California. I got admitted there for a master's in computer science.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved it there. Great university. And so, that's how, I landed here.
Cool. I love it. Okay. For our listeners and for me, STEM stands for?
Science, technology, education, and mathematics.
See, yeah. I mean, I knew that.
And we often throw an A in there for STEAM, which adds in the
STEAM.
arts.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
That would be good. That is what's missing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So how did STEM originate? And then how did Icode originate? Let's talk about STEM first.
What was that?
Sure. Yeah. So, me coming from a IT background, I'm always been into tech and technology and all that stuff. And when we moved here almost 6 years ago from Florida.
You're saying we?
My wife and my kids.
You can give them a shout out. How many kids
my
do you
wife,
have?
Carrie. So I got 3 kids.
Awesome.
So
kids are the best.
Yes. And so when we moved here, I always wanted my kids to be, have some one way or another into, learn technology and stuff. and we homeschool. So I wanted to add that component in there. And I started looking up and nothing comes up. So I was like, okay, maybe I should start a robotic club, let's give it a try. But, of course, there's always a challenge, with kids and work and all that stuff. So eventually I ended up finding Icode, the franchise. And, I did my thorough research, and by far they were one of the best technically sound curriculum they had, and they have a great team of educators and engineers. That's what I loved about them was, we're bringing all these guys together, and they're extremely passionate about children and the STEM. And I was like, okay, I think we need to bring this here to Northeast Tennessee, because I think the kids need here. So it all started with the homeschool, but now, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
So, we want to bring that to all kids, public, private, homeschool, everything. So, yeah.
That's cool.
That's how it started, yes.
Yeah. So talk about Icode, or I keep saying iCloud.
No,
Apple's done a good job programming the right thing.
Yeah.
So Icode, and how did that get originated? And you said it was a franchise. So
Yeah, so Icode started almost 8-9 years ago. They're based out of Texas.
Okay.
And, STEM, when I grew up, STEM really wasn't a word.
same.
We heard in school, of course, science, math, those things. But, computers were just really starting
Hey,
to come out.
I was really when computers first came out. We were, putting the big floppy disks in there and all that stuff. So
I was that too. I remember my third grade typing class, we had floppy disks.
Okay. You're being sweet because you're.
Maybe my school didn't have a lot of funding. I don't know. We were just behind.
Kirsten, you're being very generous. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, the first, STEM.org is probably one of the first kind of leading companies in STEM. And they now do accreditation, which we were just accredited
That's
by
awesome.
them and everything.
Look at that.
And so, just seeing the need, with technology rapidly growing, that we have to have a foundation built, and we have to start incorporating these skills for our students, even at a young age. And, it's hard because there's even as a parent of 2 young kids, I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh, congratulations.
They're, technology and iPads and devices, there's all this talk of we need to set boundaries, and we don't. I think my generation, it was cool, technology's awesome. And now we're technology can also be dangerous and very consuming, and we don't know what the long-lasting effects are going to be with the consumption.
Right.
But it's not going anywhere.
No.
Especially in the workforce.
Right.
And so, not just Icode, but STEM in general, I think the overall goal is to provide students with the experience and the tools and the skills that they need to be able to maturely step into the workforce, to not just consume, but to be able to actually get the brains thinking again, to critical think, to design, and to be entrepreneurs as they step into these fields. And with how fast it's growing, we're going to need a large workforce who's ready for it. And so that's really the heart behind all of STEM. And of course, Icode is being a part of that, to help prepare students and empower future interviewers.
Yeah. Well, some schools, public schools, have STEM programs already, right? And so how does it work? Are those state funded or government funded on some level, or how do they get going?
Yeah. I think that there's many different ways that they are. There's lots of opportunities for grants and state funding for that. Some schools have incorporated STEM as just another class, as you would math and science. There's a lot of schools too who are finding ways in incorporating STEM into the other subjects that they already have.
Gotcha.
There's ways to incorporate it even into your language arts, and then of course into math and science and technology. And so,
but a lot of schools can't afford it, right?
And depending on what they want, a lot of schools, they can't. It's, especially when you want to start incorporating a lot of the hands-on experiences and really giving students a taste of many different aspects of STEM, it does become very expensive. And, I've talked to many teachers, even from so many parts of the country, where you'll try to incorporate something new in the way that you can, just because you feel like you have to, but then it isn't very effective. Maybe you'll just, have them do some coding online things. And not that those resources aren't
Right.
beneficial at certain points, but if a student is just sitting online, typing in all these numbers and letters all day long, and that's all they're doing, like, it's probably not going to generate much of an excitement.
Right.
So at Icode, we said we have to take that and we have to generate excitement. We have to make these kids excited about STEM. And so we're doing the coding and then applying it to a robot and seeing a robot move and battle another robot. We're coding and then seeing a drone fly right in front of us. So we're taking these coding skills and applying them to things that are fun and engaging. We even use things like Minecraft and Roblox and Fortnite, these video games that students love.
I know all those.
But we're taking students to the other side. I remember our very first Roblox camp that we did. You know, students are all saying, Roblox, we love Roblox. And then we took them to the other side of Roblox, and they were the ones actually building and designing and creating the games. And I had 5 students say, I didn't know we could do this. Like, we can actually do this. This is what we're doing. And they were amazed. And so we're taking something that they love, things that are exciting and engaging. We're taking them to the other side. And then all of a sudden they're designing, they're using critical thinking skills. They're using problem solving. They're working in teams and so many other things that are going to benefit them for years to come.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what's the vision of Icode? Like, what do you guys, how long has it been here locally?
Almost 2 years.
Okay. 2 years. And then, so you're looking to partner with other schools, different nonprofits, anywhere that there are kids that need to learn about technology, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So our vision is to pretty much bring STEM to all the neighboring cities and Tri-Cities, including one of our project is to kind of also bring STEM to the underserved areas. That's big. That's on our bucket list. However, it is challenging because, got to work, try to get grants and all that stuff. But that's one of our vision is to bring that because, we believe strongly, in STEM. It's, of course, it's part of developing the workforce. But however, it's also, I feel, very important in child's development, considering because STEM is a very unique field where you're basically teaching a child how to think, how to troubleshoot, how to be creative, how to be innovative. And these skills, no matter what field they enter in the future, it's going to benefit them tremendously.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's an awesome goal. Because it's just going to get more and more technical, as you said, Kirsten. It's just going to continue to spiral.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we're going to have to, everybody's going to have to know how to do some stuff. And so, and then the different opportunities that are going to come out of that.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. Like in this AI stuff that's coming, I mean, like it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, hopefully it doesn't turn into Terminator. That would be bad. Can you shut that down through your iCloud?
Well, people always ask me, like, what do you think about it? I think it's also depends on who's the creator. Okay, so that's big. So, being a programmer, we write code, but, it depends how we write it, how's the design, how's the architecture and all that stuff. Now, AI, of course, it's machine learning. It learns on itself, but however, it still matters who created it.
Sure.
So
there's still
as long
parameters, like there's still,
right,
boundaries.
Boundaries, yes, yeah. And the cool thing about Icode is, considering that we have a team that works on the curriculum, that's what we is like we work hard on keeping up to date with the trends that's happening around us, and we're always updating our curriculum every 6 months, every year, bringing new camps and adding to our existing curriculum. I think that's what's more unique because a lot of times schools or, nonprofit, they end up purchasing something and then, it's hard to keep up with the current technology because it's not just about, creating a curriculum, but also you got to test it. You got to test the code, you got to test the hardware and all that stuff and keeping it up. And that's what we're good at. And that's what, kind of makes us special.
Yeah.
With that.
There's a lot of researches. I mean, yeah. So I guess you guys meet that need too for the schools, so they don't have to do all the research for what's
Correct.
coming up.
Yeah.
You
Right.
build the curriculum for them. You just basically take all that stress off of the teachers, and you're like, do you guys tell me how it works? I mean, is it all online? Like, or you set up classrooms for schools, or I even said you said homeschool. We can do it through a homeschool program or nonprofit after school program. So
Yeah.
let's say I said, all right, Icode, we're going to come into, like we were talking about earlier, like Rise Up, right? We've got 50 kids that we take care of every day after school. What can you guys do for us? Sell me on it. Let's go.
Yeah. So here in
Kirsten just smiled. She's like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's get everyone.
Let's go.
So here in the Tri-Cities, we have pioneered a new model with Icode, and so we're called the REACH program.
Okay.
Lots of exciting opportunities to pioneer a program. Also, things that you have to learn as well. And so we have a van. Hopefully you've seen it around. If you have, give us a little wave. We're always excited to meet people. And so we partner with locations and schools, and we bring everything right to the location. So we do a lot of traveling, a lot of driving around, a lot of packing up and unloading and organizing equipment. But we come right to you. We say class is going to be taught from 4 to 5. So we'll show up probably at 3:30. We'll set up the classroom for the day. We bring the instructor. We bring an assistant to help out with the class. We set up everything, computers, robots, drones, whatever we're doing that day. We come and we teach the class, and then we clean up and we go home. So, we have some partnerships where we're doing, like an hour.
Kirsten, how are you going to do that in like 10, 15 different schools? It's just
we'll
two of you
continue
guys.
building a team.
Okay.
We'll get more vans.
I like it. I like it.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So basically, you'll just come in and handle it all. Teach our kids to be awesome, more awesome than they are a little bit. We're going to add to their awesomeness. And then you just hit the road and it's all taken care of.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ask for Wi-Fi, some tables and chairs. But we need that.
Can we get on your Wi-Fi? No. We got to figure it out.
Hey, we figure out a way. We bring our own if we have
We
to.
have like a satellite dish on our van, tying into the Starlink.
See all the kids out in the van
Yeah,
on the
that's
computers.
right. Yeah. All right. Our thing today is we're going to have to tack into Wi-Fi. We're going to build our own
There we go.
network.
That'd
There
be
you
a
go.
great STEM project.
I love it. I love it. What is the you guys have some stuff going on. I made notes. Summer camps are coming up. What does a summer camp look like?
Summer camps are so much fun. So most of our summer camps run 5 days, like they're a whole week-long program. Students don't need any prior experience to join the summer camps. They can come in with experience. They can come in with no experience. They're really designed for anyone to jump in, have a blast. We have a lot of different topics this summer. We've got our most popular is Battle of the Bots.
Battle of the Bots.
It's so much fun. It was our most popular last year. We have it running. I think we're doing it like 8 times this summer at the end of the summer.
I had a friend, his daughter, Turner, went to state with robotics thing where they're battling. Is that the same deal? Or
it's
similar?
So we use a model of robots called Vex robots. So they're a lot like Lego pieces that you're building.
Yeah.
But then we're also, during the camp, we're building different designs. We're also then adding sensors. And so we're, making them sense color or sense distance between an object, kind of like you would like for a robot vacuum or something
or your
like
car
that.
backing up. Beep, beep,
Or your
beep.
car backing up. Yeah.
Yep.
And then the kids are also coming up with different designs. They're doing challenges like tug of war. They're battling each other and everything. So they'll do some with controlling with the remote controls. They'll do some with programming them. We have a big 12-foot by 12-foot arena that we've set up for the kids to battle the robots. And so we watch a lot of the Battle of the Bots videos. We start every morning getting pumped up with those. And so definitely that one is that's a lot of fun. And all of our camps, so some of the other ones, we've got a new Minecraft chemistry one that we're doing this year. We've got an artist studio with 2D and 3D art, drone coding, Fortnite. And the thing that's really neat and unique about our camps is every single camp, you're throughout the week, it leads up to a final project.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're learning things, they're doing different things throughout the week, but it's all leading up to this final project. And then on that Friday of the camp, they're finishing up their final projects. A lot of them often involve teamwork and things. And then we invite the parents to come on the last day of camp, and the parents get to see their final project for Battle of the Bots. We have the big final battle, and all the parents are around, and siblings are there and cheering on. And in Artist Studio, they're going to have, a portfolio of all the different kinds of art that they create and things. And so it's so much fun. Like, that's one of my favorite days, is having all of the parents come, getting to see the work they did. Often some parents at the beginning, or even kids, are, wow, 5 whole days, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That seems like a long time. I always tell the kids, you guys, like, I promise it's going to go by fast. And we get to Wednesday, we're already halfway through, and we get to Friday, and they're like, no, we don't want them to be over it. Like, that went by so fast. And so it's a blast.
That sounds like fun. Yeah. How many kids do you think you'll see this summer at the camps? A ton.
Yeah. Like, I think our capacity is about 300.
Is it too late to sign up?
Absolutely not.
How do our listeners sign their kids up for the program?
Go to our website, icodeschool.com.
Icodeschool.
icodeschool.com/TriCitiesTN.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I bet if you in Google search just type in Icode, the Tri-Cities one should pop up. If you get to the main Icode page, there's a choose your location, and you choose Tri-Cities.
Sweet. And I think we'll have that in the show notes too, so people can click on it.
Yep.
Sign up, and then you're doing something in the fall a little bit too, right?
Yeah. Amit, why don't you tell?
Sure. Yeah. So in fall, we recently partnered with Langston Center, which we're really excited about to work with them. Awesome team there. And so we are launching a brand new program in Tri-Cities called as a belt program. It is like the karate belt, where each year or the topic that they choose have a color. So at the end of the year, they will graduate to that color.
So you could become a black belt instead.
Correct. So we have black belt, yes, and a master black belt. So each color, like for example, our orange belt would be, I think, web designing. And then, one of our black belt is network security and stuff like that, and plus AI and all that stuff. So each color has certain topic that they work on throughout the school year. And they get to earn that belt after finishing that program.
So is it a year per belt?
It is a year program, yeah.
Nice.
School year.
School year
program.
Yes. Gotcha. You're like, we got stuff. We're doing stuff in the summer. I just told you about the camps. Can't do that too. That's awesome. And so how many belts? Probably 5 or 6 or more. I don't know.
There's
lots of.
We have around
8 or 9.
8 or 9 belts.
8 or 9.
That's right.
That's awesome.
We start all the way in kindergarten through 12th grade.
That's great.
Yes,
yeah. And with the belts, you don't have to. You can, if you have some experience, you don't necessarily have to start. Like if you're in 6th grade, you don't have to start at the junior belt.
Yeah.
You can. We'll provide like a little assessment just to kind of see what the experience is and to see where we think the best fit would be to continue to grow.
I hang out with a lot of homeschool moms and dads and families, and so how do they tap into this, like your all's resources? Because I think there are a lot of homeschool parents in our area that would love to bring their kids to a STEM.
Yeah.
To an
Absolutely. Well, they're more than welcome to join the belt program. That's going to be at the afternoon and evening.
So it's an afternoon deal, kind of. Okay.
It is. But however, like this past year, we held a class on Friday mornings at 10:30. We used a space at the Altar Fellowship. And we had a great group of homeschool families who were there.
Yeah.
And that was very convenient. And so we would definitely consider doing that if that's something that people are interested in. We would definitely look at hosting a morning class or something like that. Yeah. And then we also, we can also
part of a cottage program or something. Yeah.
And we can also partner with like the different homeschool co-ops and communities that are around the Tri-Cities too, just like we would partner with the school or the nonprofits. And we can definitely, we've partnered with a new homeschool co-op that's coming up, that's starting in the fall. And so we're going to be teaching an enrichment class every Friday afternoon for their students.
That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. Speaking of fun, what do you guys like to do for fun in Johnson City? When you're not
not
having
coding
robotic
or-
vitals and all that stuff.
Well, my family and I, like I said, I have 2 young kids, and so we often love to just go on adventures. My family, we're big foodies.
Oh,
So even my girls, I mean, my 5-year-old and 2-year-old, like, they like sushi, they like it all. So
Or
we
going out
love
to eat.
going
or hanging
out to
out.
eat. We
Yeah.
love going to coffee shops and everything. We love exploring and getting out to like the parks and everything. I love the parks here with my 2 girls.
Aren't
Like,
they awesome?
so different
Yeah.
than the parks in Arizona.
A little greener,
A little greener.
a little more mulch and stuff that's not little pebbles. And
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was in Phoenix. I was like, man, I'm just looking for anything that, there's like nothing soft out here. Like it's all
So
hard.
when we moved here and we were looking at houses, I was like, is there a sprinkler system? And I was like, you don't need a sprinkler system. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
we got one. It's called the
The
rain.
rain.
Rain. Yeah.
Although in August, October-ish, September, sometimes it kind of burns out a little bit or get dry a little.
Nothing.
Nothing like
these.
no, I know. I know. Well, I was like, they've got misters everywhere.
Right.
I was like, well, that feels really good. Now I understand them, but we had one at Cootie Brown's here. Amit, what do you guys like to do for fun?
I mean, definitely food, and then kids, they love to go to the skating rink
Oh, yeah.
or hands-on museum, or all this kid activities. So yeah, they definitely keep us busy.
Yes, they do for sure. And I'm sure you've got them enrolled in your STEM stuff already, and they're learning all kinds of cool things. So yeah, that's awesome. A lot of fun. What's been something that you're kind of an entrepreneurial team, right? And so what are some of the challenges you've had to overcome to bring Icode to Johnson City and Kingsport? Are you guys in multiple cities?
We are.
Yes.
We serve all 3 of the Tri-Cities and even beyond.
Yeah.
So,
Funding is the main one, maybe?
yeah, I think that funding would be probably the
Right.
main thing. We're not a non-profit organization, and so we can't just apply for the grants. And I really think we figured out a way to work with the organizations and help them apply
Yeah,
for
I
the
would be
grants
like, hey,
through them.
we have an
to
online,
them.
we have an on-site grant writer, full-time grant writer that will help you all do. I don't know if that's something
and
y'all
that's
do.
exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And so that just took a little bit of time to figure out in the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but again, like with being the pioneers of this model, there's a lot of neat opportunities where we're just like, oh, we just get to try to go for it. And then there were some like that where the only thing we had to look at was the other iCodes. And so it took a little bit of time to figure out how to actually make a REACH
Right.
program work in a smaller city
Yeah.
as well. Because all of the other iCodes are in pretty major cities.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What are some of the other cities where you guys have a presence?
We're all across Texas. So Dallas, Austin,
Yeah.
Frisco. We're in Atlanta. There's one
North
in
Carolina.
Franklin, Charlotte, right in Phoenix,
Yeah.
and everything.
Mhm.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
you guys are kind of all over the nation, and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and now we get the benefit of little Johnson City having you guys
Yes.
here.
Yeah. In fact, like when I had approached them, once I went through their curriculum and all that stuff, I was like, we got to bring this here. And they looked at the demographics and they were like, I don't think this is going to work here. I was like, come on, guys, we've got to bring this here, for our kids, we got to do this. So then they were like, okay, well, we do have another new model, which we have never tried. Would you like to try? I was like, yes, we will try it.
Yeah.
So yes, and in fact, I like this better because, we can not just serve Johnson City, but all the neighboring cities and areas around.
Yeah.
Tri-Cities.
And I would think that your budget would be significantly less because you don't have a brick
Correct.
and mortar to deal with.
That's right. Operating cost is much lower, and that's how we can also keep our costs lower for the kids. Yes.
Gotcha.
I really think it fits in to just the home and family community aspect of the Tri-Cities as well, because
Right.
this way we're actually, I can't tell you how many just relationships I've formed with different principals and the
Oh, yeah.
directors of all of these organizations. And I really
Yeah.
cherish those, which
man,
we
they're
would not
great
have the
people.
opportunity
Yeah.
if we were just in our
Brick
brick
and
and
mortar, yeah.
mortar.
Yeah. Because then they'd
Absolutely.
have to come to you and that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, I'm excited for our listeners to connect with you. How do they do that?
Totally. They connect with us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, icode.try.cities. And I'm sure that will be in the
It'll
show
be in the
notes.
show notes just for you, Kirsten.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Our website and everything. I really think the best way though is through social media.
Okay.
I run all of that myself, and so I love just getting to chat, with everybody and make engaging community in that way even as well.
Is that part of the program too? Like how to handle social media like more responsibly would be a good way of saying it. Is that a part of the STEM program? Because that is a big part of life now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do have some things with social media, especially like on the design aspect and like creating content and everything.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if like we get even more into that as well.
Yeah, I think parents would be like, sign my kid up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get them off of it, or help them use it properly.
Yes,
that's right.
It's like a tool, right?
Yeah,
it's like a tool.
That's right.
And it's fun, and it's a great way to keep in touch with people if you use it that way. But if you're just sitting there watching and watching and watching and watching for 8 hours, and you're like,
Agree.
what happened to my whole day? That's not good.
Right.
You should be listening to podcasts like this one instead while you're out mowing the yard or taking a walk or cleaning your house or whatever. So, yeah. What's something that I forgot to ask you that you'd love to share that I didn't ask? Anything specific, or would cover it all?
I think we have.
Okay. You can turn the tables and ask me something if you want. Yeah. I mean, some people I had one guy ask me, this is Ryan White, who's actually cut my son's hair tonight. He was like, would you rather fight one giant duck or 100 little tiny ducks? And I was like, oh, that's a tough one. Probably the tiny ducks. I don't know. So, yeah, hit me with something. You got anything you want to know about Johnson City Living Podcast or buying or selling a house in Johnson City?
So, yeah, I mean, I was curious. So, like, when did you start Johnson City, and what inspired you? Yeah,
so also during the pandemic, a little bit, I was like, man, I'd really like to connect with people, and it's hard to do that.
Right.
So how do I do it? And so I was going to do remote podcasts just so I could talk to people. But then I started looking at microphones after 2 days of just which microphone to buy. It was like I was having anxiety, like I'm going to buy the wrong one. It's not going to work. And then I got to plug it into some kind of supercomputer switchy thing that Mitch runs with his brain because he's just so tied into it all. And I was like, I don't even know where to start. And then so one of my friends, Leighton Hart, had started a podcast on his own called Johnson City Living. And so I connected with him and I was like, hey, bro, I'm thinking about doing this. And he was like, well, actually, I'm thinking about stepping out of it. He had done, I think, 40 something episodes, maybe 50 at that point. Okay. And so I said, well, I'd love to take it over. And so we wound up working out a deal, and it was awesome because it just kind of slid right in. And then he was hosting it, or he was doing the producing of it. And then Mitch came into the mix and bought him out. And so Mitch is now the host. And so that's how it got going. But the inspiration was just, I love connecting with people, helping them. Right. Much like you guys with the kids, you want to connect with them and help them grow and develop and become bigger. But that's kind of my whole emphasis on it. I just love people, Okay. I feel like that's what the Lord's called us to do, is love each other and then, celebrate him and teach them how we can be better through that. So, yeah, thank you for asking. What gets you guys just fired up? The summertime's coming up. Like, what are you just like, let's go, it's summertime. What gets you fired up?
Oh, I mean, from the Icode side of things.
Yeah. Or life just regular.
And life, I mean, I think just, just that pace of camps in general, not just the Icode camps, but, we've got my daughter is stoked for VBS and everything. Yes. And so just
summer
the summertime, the camps, being outside more, being in the water. I mean, 4th of July, I'll tell this story. This is fun. So Amit and I, our families through Icode, we've become really close. And I just love how the Lord brought us together. Yeah. It was definitely,
divine.
It was. And I mean, people ask us, they're like, oh, your families must have known each other before Icode and you started this together. Nope. We just it was a very random thing, but.
Were you looking at online STEM stuff too and how to do it and get it going?
No.
How did you guys
I'll
become partners?
That's a story. So when I started, of course, I were looking for a director to run, the operations and everything. And then I was honestly praying about it and like, Lord, just bring me a person who would understand that, what the vision we have here and the passion and kind of, connect and grow with us. And then Josh, that is Kirsten's husband, applied for the position. And then I got on a call with him, and then he goes, after explaining everything with Icode, he goes, you know what, maybe I should have my wife apply for this. I was like, yes, go ahead. And
I was going to have to let you down jelly anyway, that you aren't the right fit.
And so, me and Kirsten talked, I think, for a long time, the first time explaining everything. And, she really understood what I wanted to achieve here, is to bring kids pretty much from K to 12 and all kids coming from all areas in their life, and we want to get into underserved areas too, because we know that these kids probably will never see a robot or a drone in their life. And we're not just having them play with the robot. We're teaching them how it works. We're teaching them how to program. So that's what's exciting, just getting these kids excited, inspired to create and be productive with technology, not just consume it. So that's the whole idea. And, we're also really big on soft skills, like, working in team, troubleshooting and presentation, critical thinking. So these are like qualities that it's going to help you by the time you get to college or you want to trade, whatever, these things is going to stay with you for, for your life. So we're passionate about it. And Kirsten, got that whole idea, the whole vision. And we're like, all right, let's do this,
But in the midst of, I was not searching out a job. I was still in Arizona. My husband was just, it was almost 2 years to the day when my husband said, I think the Lord is calling us to move to Johnson City. And so he was searching for jobs and he was just kind of aimless.
What does he do?
He's IT.
Okay.
Does, all sorts. So he actually works with us now too. He helps teach and everything. It really has become a family thing now. But he was just putting his resume out to everything on Indeed. And so he didn't even really realize what the job was. And so he called me. He was like, hey, someone's going to call you in a minute. Just to hear about
Just be cool.
Okay. I'm not even searching. So that first conversation, while I was excited about it, coming from an education background, I've taught and been in administration and everything. So it was exciting. But in the back of my mind, I was like, not even looking for a job. I have 2 young kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm about to move to a new city. Why? I don't know how this would work. And so I'm getting excited, but I'm like, what are you doing? You're making him think you're actually going to take this. But then after a couple conversations, it just became very clear and evident that that's what I was supposed to do. And that was the door being opened. And I'm so grateful and thankful.
Isn't it fun, when you get confirmation that you're like, okay, if I don't do this, it's going to be the wrong thing to do, right? The Lord just shows up over and over. He's like, if you don't do this, it's going to be...
Right.
Yeah. Right. I'll still probably figure it out for you, but this is just, you just have a total peace about it.
Mm-hmm. And it was exactly that. And so... That's cool. We moved here and I just started, had no idea how to, I'm in a brand new city. Yeah. And just, started the whole networking and everything. Yeah. And so, but it's just been amazing.
And now 2 years in, you're killing it. You guys are wearing it out.
So thankful, again, for just, the Johnson City Chamber and all of the partners that we've, been able to connect with and bring STEM to. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing where you guys take it and just the impact. I love looking at the impact you guys are going to have, because just one interaction sometimes can change your life in just a crazy way. And if some child that never even got to think about building a robot gets to do something like that, or, code something or whatever you teach them, it could change their life forever. And I think it's just super cool. I was very blessed to have parents who were huge on education and experiences, and they took us all over the world and they gave us lots of education. And just, I think it's awesome, because that's what's going to continue to grow our country and continue to make it better and better and better. So thank you for what you do. I pray that it just really flourishes. And thanks for coming on the podcast. I really enjoyed meeting you both. And That's what I love getting to do, connecting with people. And so I think it's just a lot of fun. So I hope you have a great summer. Hope the camps go great.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being a part of our podcast. If you want to move to Johnson City and meet Kirsten and Amit and hang out with them, I'd love to move you here. And we help people invest and build wealth in real estate all the time. And it's just a lot of fun. And so, yeah, that's what I'm passionate about. So anyway, thanks again for listening. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.